I trust that everybody been having a blessed day so far. Hallelujah. God is good. All right. We're going to get Jack to dive completely into this tonight. I don't want to be in here long. I had my AC guy here all day working, trying to figure out what's going on with this unit. Couldn't figure it out. He's been tracing it down. Notice that's not working, so we cannot see what is completely wrong. So we'll be back tomorrow to Friday to put a new thermostat in for us and to see if that's the problem. Hopefully that is, because the only thing that's going on is that the unit upstairs is not coming on, but everything on this level is working. But God knows. God knows. You complain about this heat right here, you better not go to hell. Amen. All right, let's dive deep in. I think I'm on week 23. Yes. Week 23, I believe. The kingdom principle of royal favor. Did I do that last week? I don't know that yet. Okay. The kingdom principle of royal favor. Now write that down. The kingdom principle of royal favor. Royal favor is the sovereign prerogative of the king to extend a personal law to a citizen. A personal law to a citizen that positions that citizen to receive special privileges and advantages that are personally protected by the king. That's why you hear people say favor ain't fair. Now you know what favor is. Y'all want me to read it again? I'll read it again. No. Favor, royal favor is the sovereign prerogative of the king to extend a personal law to a citizen that positions that citizen to receive special privileges and advantages that are personally protected by the king. So whatever God do for you is protected by God. So when you walk into a place and they say no to everybody that walk in and they say yes to you, that yes is now protected by God. Glory to God. Exodus chapter 33 and 19, it says, and the Lord said, I will cause all my goodness to pass in front of you. I don't even have to read the rest of the scripture. He said, I will cause all of my goodness to pass in front of you. My God. And he said, and I will proclaim my name, the Lord, in your presence. I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy, and I will have compassion on whom I will have compassion. See, we got to stop saying God. See, God don't get people that you want God to get. See, God get who he desired to get. He said, I'll have compassion on whom I will. So what they did you wrong? My compassion fails not. See, so in other words, what I'm saying is, and the Lord wants us all to understand this kingdom concept, that when people do you wrong, don't wish that God get them. See, you're supposed to pray for them. God's going to already get them. So don't wish it upon them. God's going to get you for that. No. Lord, have mercy upon them for what they did. They don't know me, God, but you do. Forgive them. So you got to ask God to cover these people. See, people don't know who you are. They don't know you. See, they only assuming that they know you because they see you physically. The real you is spirit. They don't know you. That's why when people say, man, I know you, I tell them you lying. Because the Bible says that God only knows you because he knows your spirit. You got to stop letting people say they know you and they don't know you. If they know you, they will know what you did yesterday and you went with them. See, God knows what you did yesterday and He knows what you did tomorrow and you ain't even did it yet. Hallelujah. See, He knows you. Stop letting people say, I know you. No, you don't know me. And one of the things that's sad today is that I'm getting my time, guys. God forgive me. Starting to sweat a little bit. That's my bad. Keep your shit put it in there. But nevertheless, favor truly is not fair. So when God has favor upon your life, people are not going to like you because of the favor of God. They're going to talk about you because of the favor of God. They think they're something. I am something. May not be to you, but I am to Him. So it don't matter how you feel about me, it matters what He feels. So when I walk into a room of unknown people that I don't know, the aura of God radiates from me and the favor begins to fill that room. And you begin to obtain things that you normally wouldn't obtain because of the favor of God is protected by God. I don't need my notes. Notes is already inside. It's warmer down here. Thank you, London. The favor of God will have you in a place that you normally wouldn't be because it's protected. Come here, baby. I like to give illustrations, and this illustration God just gave it to me. This is my baby here. She's protected by the authority of God that's upon me. So when you mess with her, you mess with me. So when she's hungry and she's with me or in my presence, I feed her. If she's wanting something to drink, I give her a drink. Favor don't always mean you're asking for things. Favor means that everything that you need is covered. You see what I'm saying? She don't have to ask for anything because what she needs is already covered. See, we're constantly asking for God to do things that He already did. Listen, He said, give me thanks in all things. Why did He say that? Because He already gave you everything. The reason you don't have it is because you haven't tapped into who you are. You have to tap into who you are. Because who you are is spirit. And God gave you everything in the spirit pertaining to life and godliness. So now you have to tap into this. So when I teach her the aura of God and the oracles of God and the laws of God, the Bible said that she won't depart from it. Listen, it never say that the child will stray away but come back. But that's what we teach, that they'll stray away and then come back. No, it says specifically that when you teach them, they won't depart from it. When your child stray away, you haven't taught them to. They strayed away because you didn't teach them. So to experience the fullness of God's favor, you have to be in right standing with God. That's what righteousness is. We have to stay in right standing. Listen, You can't afford to allow the people next to you to sin against God. There is no way for you to pull up to my ear and gossip to me. Not going to happen. Gossip is from the devil. There is no way for you to pull up to my ear and try to get me to lie. That's contrary to the law of God. Hallelujah. So if you want to walk in his favor and experience God in the full capacity of his presence, then you have to shun away from things that you know that's not God. Listen, you may not like me, but if you have committed yourself to my tutelage, it's your obligation to obey it. See, the thing is that people don't know what the meaning of I pledge my allegiance is. I pledge my allegiance. When you were the kid, you pledged your allegiance to the United States of America. And when you turned 18, they said, now you got to prove that you pledged your allegiance. You got to register. Huh? Do you not? I believe everybody in this room, when they turn 18, you had to register. And if you didn't, the people's going to be knocking at your door. Hallelujah. My son turned 18 last year, and he had to register. You pledge your allegiance? They train you to pledge your allegiance to something that you don't even know what you pledge your allegiance to. But here, I'm teaching you what you are pledging to, and how it works, and how it functions. Many of you right now, you don't even understand how the United States works. And then some of you don't know how the kingdom of God works. You've been here for some time, and you still crying and complaining about what you don't have. See, we as people, and I'm trying to help you with this favor thing. We as people, we are too caught up on stuff, material. This is what we desire, material. You'd rather have material than God. I'd rather have food on my table. Oh man, I hear you, Lord. I'd rather have food on my table than pay my tithes and offering. Well, you go on ahead and feed your God then. And see where your God gets you. The Bible tells us that your body is more than just food. The Lord said, I will cause my goodness to pass in front of you. That's what favor is. And there's another side to God where his curses can pass in front of you. I'd rather be in a good place with God where his presence is bringing nothing but good things. How many want to do house? One person, two people, three people, four people. Your mama raised their hand. Y'all kids, put y'all hand down. Y'all can't even afford it. That's why you ain't getting it. You know how to get your house? You know how to get your house with no money? You know how to get your house with no money? How do you get your house with no money? somebody don't pay. So I'll take it back, Sister Laura. You was right, but you didn't go back to the source of it. Yeah. So we just hit the rewind button and we went back to the source of it and His righteousness. The Bible says in Matthew 6:34, it says, "Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven and all of His righteousness, and the house will be added to you. The car will be added to you. The husband will be added to you. The wife will be added to you. The children will be added to you." Seeking first. But we seek things first. Especially when we get ourselves fresh off the street trying to learn God. You know, I ain't giving that church no money. I ain't paying that pastor. You ain't paying me. Oh, man. Go give me some of this. Ooh. I love my God because He never leaves nor forsakes me. Favor will have you to walk into a house with a realtor, and they show you the house, and the owner just happened to be there, and they feel the presence of God on you, and it jumps on them, and they say, "I will give you this house." That's favor. Favor is when you go and you lay your hands on the car and say, "Lord, thank you." And before you know it, somebody gives you that car. The key to it is understanding that it's really not yours. God bless you with the house. It's only a blessing. It's not yours. If He tell you to pack your things out of it tomorrow because somebody else is getting ready to move in, guess what you got to do? You got to pack up and move. If He's telling you to give out what He gave you, then He has something better than what He already gave you. God would never tell you to give something if He don't plan on reimbursing you for what it is. Why do you think when God tells you that when you give money out, don't expect for it to come back? See, when you don't expect it to come back, then you leave room for you to receive something. Give, and it shall be given unto you. See, you got to give. Favor, you got to give. See, God's not here to physically give to you. So He uses people to give. That's why the Bible says, "Shall men give unto your bosom?" See? So you got to give for God, and God will give back to you. That's why He said, "I give seed to the sower." Because the sower realizes it's not their seed. I have to keep putting it in the ground. Don't you know that you are the ground, you are the dirt that God plants seed in? And I say this all the time, is that when you are out of dirt, God causes other people to give you dirt. That's why they talk about you. They mishandle you and misuse you. So you can have some dirt. So you can keep planting the seed that God gave you. Hallelujah. But what good is a seed that's in a bag? What good is it if it's in the bag? A seed is supposed to become, but it cannot become if you don't put it in the element where it's supposed to become. can't go get cantaloupe seed. I have to get the right seed to give me what I want. Okay? Watch this. The seed don't have to go to school to be a tree. It don't have to go to school to be a watermelon. All you need to do is give the seed some dirt and some water, and it will do the rest. So you think that you got to go to school to become what you are supposed to become? There is no theological school that can tell you about you. The school of theology is about the study of God, but not one course on his kingdom. Not one. You are supposed to be something great. The reason that many of us never become great is because we keep taking the seed out of the ground. I don't like the way they're doing things over there. I'm going to leave and go to this church. Right? Seriously. Because you can uproot yourself and plant in a field and you never grow. I got to see, I'm talking like this because I got a full-fledged farmer in here today. And she plants and she can grow some product. So for you to grow, you have to be planted. You have to plant. And you can't dig it up before you sprout. Favor will cause you to be planted into a field. Watch this. Because this is where many of you are right now. You can be planted in the field, and because of the favor of God, God will cause you to be ignored by everybody. Because God wants you to grow. Now what happened? Come here, baby. Watch this. If I have her watching a kingdom series on television, and some music is starting to play over here that kids like to hear. That little stuff that they play on YouTube, I can't think of the name of it. Some of that little, y'all know the music we're talking about. They play it for the little babies sometimes. There you go. She's going to be distracted. Boom. Because she's familiar with the music. So she's distracted now, but she's supposed to be doing this. See, when the favor of God, he don't allow the distractions. He puts you and he covers. And the TV that you're watching is now up under the cover. You couldn't see nothing, could you? See, no distraction. See, that's why some of us adults can't get to God because too many distractions. Thank you, baby. My son was on his phone yesterday. I walked in the room. I said, why don't you give your God a break? He looked at me and said, what? I said, your phone, your God. turn this phone off and listen to you. See, that can become your God. And you lose the favor of God. You don't want to put nothing before him. I'm sorry. I love my wife, but she don't come before God. My children, they don't come. City of Mercy, you don't come before him. It's God, family, then the ecclesia. Glory to God. I think I got time. We'll go to the next one. I got time. It's going to be good. This is a very good one. And I hope you understand it in this help. The kingdom principle of decree. A royal decree is a declaration of a king that becomes law to all. It is sustained by the king's personal commitment to bring the declaration or promise to pass. The law of God is the law of God. Daniel chapter 6 verse 15, it says, "Remember, O king, that according to the law of the Medes and the Persians, no decree or edict that the king issue can be changed." So whatever God speaks out of his mouth is law. Are y'all not understanding what I say? Whatever God speaks out of his mouth, it is law. If God uses me to speak to you for a word, that word is law. And if you don't adhere to the prophetic word, then you are in a treasoning state in the kingdom of God, and you will be arrested and you will be in prison. The Bible says that the prophet speaks for God. So if God uses me in the prophetic gift to give a word, and you say, "I don't want it," you're saying, "God, your law is nothing to me." You telling God that I'll slap you in your face. Say it again. Oh my God. Listen. Woo. Let's go to the New Testament. Since we gave you something in the Old, since y'all think we are not under that law no more, let's go see what he said. He said this. Matthew chapter 5 and 18. He said, "I tell you the truth." This is Jesus talking. Until. Y'all hear that? Until heaven and earth disappear. Not the smallest letter, not the least stroke of a pen will by any means disappear from the law until everything is accomplished. We're still under it. Thou shalt not kill. He said, "You have heard in times of old that you shall not kill." He said, "An eye for an eye and tooth for a tooth." He said, "But I take to you today that if you hate your brother without a cause," he said, "you are in danger of the entire law book." Not some of the law, but the entire book of the law. Y'all better get it right. If you have a problem with somebody, you better get it right. If you know somebody got a problem with you, you better get it right. The Bible says that if you know that your brother or your sister got a problem with you, he said, lay your gift at the altar. Don't put it in the basket. Lay it at the altar. Go get it right and then come back and offer your gift. See, God don't receive your tithe and offering if you got a problem with somebody. If you know they got a problem with you and you ain't going to get it right, God don't receive it. You got to get it right. When God showed me that in his word, my wife tell you, I started calling people that I knew had a problem with me. Hey, I want to get it right. And they were shocked that I called. No, I'm getting it right with my God. So if he told me to do it, I'm going to do it. It's law. Say you have heard the times of old. That's what the word said. He said, but I say, he did some upgrades to meet you where you are. He said, I tell you the truth. See, many of us, we don't want truth. So if you come up to me and say, Pastor, how did this look on me? And it's ugly, I'm going to tell you it's ugly. I have to tell you the truth. If it's ugly to me, it's ugly. But my opinion don't matter. I'm just telling you, to me, it's ugly. But if I tell you the truth from how I feel, you get offended. Listen, you can't get offended behind somebody's opinion. If you like it, you like it. Should not matter if somebody else like what you don't like. That's why I tell people all the time, this is my opinion, and I have a right to it. I don't like what you like. I'm not a part of the in crowd, so I don't like what the in crowd like. Had some kids in the barbershop not too long ago. Oh, they were just going and going and going, and they was just going. And I said, hey, they're like, yeah. I said, why do all of y'all say on God? I said, you don't own God. So how can you say on God? You don't own him. I said, this is this new day era thing that y'all, I told my kids, I bet they hear you say it. Why do you want to be like somebody else? Why do you want to do what other people do? Scientifically proven that you are more than 500 million. Why do you want to be like somebody else if you're more than 500 million? I'm going to be me. I'm going to spend my day trying to find me. And when I find me, I'm going to hide me from you. Because when you find you, the people around you that don't know who they are, they get intimidated by you. See, you are put on this earth to become who you're supposed to be. Listen, you didn't come here to make friends. You came here to do a work for God. We have wasted too much time beating the air trying to be friends. I don't want to be your friend anymore. I want to be who God called me to be so that I can do this work and I can lead. The Bible said, listen, the Bible says in the book of Ecclesiastes, it says this is the sum of your life. And it has nothing to do with friends. It said this is the sum of your life, that you fear God and keep his commandments. It's the word. So that means I'm not here to make you a friend. I'm here to keep his law and to fear him. Hallelujah. We have wasted precious time. The book of Matthew, it says that when the kingdom of God is preached to every nation as a witness, then the end will come. Listen, we're too busy trying to be friends and stab each other in the back behind positions and titles. Now, you may have all the time in the world to waste, I don't. Forgive me if I don't answer my phone. I may not have time. I don't have time to shoot breezes. You want a breeze? Step outside. No, I'm serious. You have to learn to protect your time. God did not give us time to waste time. He gave us time so that you can find you and become it. before you found City of Mercy, you didn't know that you was born to lead. You were not born to be a follower. You was born to lead in the area of your gift. That's why the Bible says your gift will make room for you. You're supposed to be leading in that gift. Well, Pastor, I don't know what my gift is. You 30, you 40, you 50, and you don't know your gifts? Yeah. I got a gift to cut hair. I have a gift to teach. See? If you can cook good, that's a gift. If you can bake a cake and make somebody say, Lord, where this woman at? You have a gift. There is no reason for anybody in the world to say that I'm homeless. There's no reason for nobody to say in the world that I'm broke. Your gift make room for you, and it puts you in the presence of great men. Okay, watch this. I'm a barber. I just recently stopped chasing the dream. But when I was doing what I was doing, I was on the top of my game. I was cutting the Chiefs players. I was cutting other celebrities that would just fly to Kansas City to get haircuts. It was because of my gift. See, a lot of people just go to school because they desire to be a barber and they don't have a gift to be a barber. When you become successful in your gift, people desire your gift. My gift as a barber put me in the presence of great men. I was in a room at certain particular times in my life, and I would take my wife, and we would go to banquets that we was invited to by millionaires. They were their favorite. And these people in this room treated us like we belonged there. I looked at my wife, I said, babe, and I was just joking, I said, we the brokest ones they do. I'm talking about millionaires. I mean just millionaires, millionaires all in this room. And they walking up to us, hey, like they know us. I say, God, your word is true. That your gift will make room. And to this day, when certain celebrities come to Kansas City, they still call me for haircuts. I don't desire to be the Chiefs barber like I used to be. I don't have time for it anymore. My time is dedicated to God and not barbering anymore. Because there is a great need for me to teach them. Because there are too many people in the world that don't know who God is. They think he's a religious God when he's a king. And to understand that he's a king, and it's sad that so many people, they talk about him and say he's a king and he's the king of kings, but they don't live according to the law of his kingdom. said, look, he said, look after the widows and the fatherless. The church is not doing it. A woman loses her husband. The church is supposed to step in and take care of her. That's the word of God. If a child loses his father, the Bible says to step in and take care of him. It's the word of God. It's not doing it. It's not happening. So we are saying, God, we serve you, but we don't serve your law. Because religion say that we're no longer under the law. But the book I just read, in Matthew chapter 5 and 18, it said, until heaven and earth pass away. We're still on earth, right? Everybody agree to that? We're still on earth. And if you go outside and look up, heaven is still there. Then we're still under the law. The law that we are no longer under is the law of sin and death. He said, I come that you may have life, and that more abundantly. When he got up from the grave, he proved to all of us. He said, oh, where is yours? Oh, grave, where is your victory? Everybody got up when he died. Not when, see, the thing is, they didn't get up when he got up. When he died, they got up. Go back and read it. When they died, when he died, when he didn't die, when he gave up the ghost, they all got up. Because even the sins of them that had died before he died on the cross, they got up because their sins were forgiven. So they got up to prove that they needed life. He said, up until now, there is no greater prophet than John the Baptist. Because John the Baptist, he got to tell you that the kingdom was coming, and then he got to introduce the kingdom. That's why there is no prophet greater than John the Baptist. A royal decree. As an ambassador in the kingdom of God, you can declare a thing and decree a thing, and it becomes law. And the law cannot be broken. Now watch this. I'm going to help you because I don't want you to just go around declaring things. Understand what the declaration is, the decree is. You got to look at the pros and cons and the consequences of it. Because whatever you decree, it becomes law. And if the law is broken, the law takes care of the broken person that broke it. So you have to set boundaries in that and guidelines. And if you just say, I declare and I decree. Law protects itself. When God said, thou shalt not commit fornication before marriage. And everyone that have had intercourse before marriage, two things happen to you. And every last one of you can attest to it. And you that are watching online, two things happen to you when you had sex before marriage. You got a disease or you got a baby. Or you probably got both. The law was made to protect you from a disease and a baby that you could not afford. That's why he said, don't do it before you get married. Thou shalt not steal. See, there's a law that's overseas that's still in effect. They just don't do it in America. You get caught stealing, they cut your hand off. You get caught stealing again, they cut you up. You can't steal that now. I think they need to do that in America. You have a lot of people stop stealing each other's spouses here. Woo, Jesus. Let me wrap this up. We gotta get out of here. Oh, Jesus, help us. The declaration, and the king personally committed to bring the declaration of promise to pass. See, when Daniel was in the lion's den, there was a declaration that these wicked men put together, because they had a wicked device. See, they put the device together. Now, y'all remember what I just said, that you have to make sure that you understand what kind of declaration, because the law is going to do that, just what you want the law to do. So in their mind, they said, we're going to cast a law that if anybody worship any other god outside of our king, will be thrown into the lion's den. That's the stipulations of the law. So when that law became effective, Daniel had to go to the lion's den because it became a decree. So when you say, I decree a thing, it normally won't happen because you never gave the guidelines to that law. Make sense now? So you have to give a guideline to what that law is supposed to do, because you can't make a law without the penalty of breaking the law. You see what I'm saying? Okay, I'll do it this way. They have a sub-law that when that light turns red out there, you have to stop. The consequences of breaking the law is that you can have an accident because somebody's coming through the green light, or the police see you, and you lose on both ends. So that's what the law is protect. So the law tells you that if you stop at the stoplight, it protects you from getting a ticket or an accident. So we're making laws with no stipulations on the law. I declare and I decree that sickness and disease shall dry up. Okay, what's the stipulations of that decree? You have to have some guidelines so the law can follow the guidelines. Law obeys law. But if you have no guidelines for the law to follow, then law can't follow law. When God said, let there be light, it became law because God spoke. So what God did after he spoke it, he said he separated the dark and the light. That's the law now. That the light cannot be on when it's dark. Yes. That's law. When God spoke to the water, he said, fish appeared. And the water started making fish. It became a law. So the fish don't leave the guidelines of the law. It stays in the water. That's why when you try to catch a fish, that fish like, no. You're trying to get me to break the law. And that fish fight to stay in the law. You're the only one that don't fight to stay in the law. Woo! The law is saying, thou don't lie. And somebody convince you to lie for you. We don't. Don't let nobody send you to hell. If you go on your own cognitive ability. Don't let nobody send you there. I'm telling you, I don't want to go there because if the Bible talks bad about hell, and I'm not talking about like bad, I'm talking about like it's bad to go. Weeping and gnashing of teeth. No. I'm not going to be tormented by a demon. He's trying to torment me now. Why am I going to allow you to torment me in the life after? You trying to torment me now. I can't do this twice. Hello? Don't let your body and your spirit live in send you to hell. What is it like? The house that you get ready to leave and go to right now. When you leave this service, the house you go to right now, you allow that house to send you to hell. You're going to say to yourself, I'm getting out of here. Right or wrong? Right? So why do you allow the body that your spirit live in send you there? The Bible said it's better to enter into life with one member amputated than to enter with both. My God. Because you can't stand before God if you're not clean. Wake up back there, sound man. Life is more than what we think it is. What did you do today? Was it productive? Or did you waste time? Was you becoming who you're supposed to become? Or was you operating on somebody else's time today? Because if you ain't doing what God told you to do, and if you didn't do what He told you to do today, then you have wasted time. How many about the show of hands that got up and sought God early this morning? I see a lot of hands up, but it's the truth. Because the Bible said that God searches the heart of everybody in here. Is it true? Did you truly search Him today? Because if you sought Him today, He would have gave you instructions for your day. If you sought Him today, He would have told you what's wrong in you today. So one thing I know about God, God will never send you on a mission if you messed up. He said, seek me early when I can be found. You can't find God right now. You know why you can't find Him right now? Because it's early somewhere else. Somewhere else is early. It's too late today. It's early overseas. Over on the other side of the world, it's early. They're seeking Him right now. You can't get directions at nighttime. The people that you were supposed to affect, you missed it today if you didn't seek Him. First thing I do when I get up from there, I tell Him thank you, Lord. Walk into the restroom, Lord, thank you. These legs are working, thank you. Turn on the light. Lord, thank you, this hand is working. This arm is moving. Thank you. Lord, thank you, my mind is thinking to turn the light on and to open the door. Thank you. Go and put my clothes on and my leg was bending. Lord, thank you for the mobility. See, if you ain't never been immobilized, and you don't have, honestly, you won't say thank you for mobility if you ain't never been immobilized. And you wake up every day. Give your day's direction. Don't leave your house without a guidance from God. Don't go nowhere that He never gave you permission to go. I'm done. Any questions? Comments? No? Praise the Lord. I guess I've helped some lives today. You can cut the